Hey guys, Coach Connor here. If you're somebody who's new to exercise or working out in general, you might be a little bit unfamiliar with some of the terminology, and that's totally fine. I'm going to take this video to kind of explain some common terms that you might see in your exercise program. So, first thing to know is, what is a rep of an exercise? Well, one rep of any exercise is one repetition, and really what that's going to look like is I'm going through the full range of motion of the exercise back to the start position. So, very important thing to note is that it is both ways. If I'm doing something like arm curls, it is all the way up and all the way down. There are benefits to doing both sides of the exercise. So, if you're looking at sets are the number of times that we are going to repeat the number of reps that we have prescribed. So, if we're doing 2 sets of 8, we're going to do 8. We're going to take our rest time and we're going to come back and do 8 more afterwards. So another important thing to note is if you are in the middle of your set of, let's say, 10, and you only get to 8, and 8 is very hard for you to do, so you're going to take a little break and then come back and do the last 2. It's very important to note that that's not really what we're looking for in terms of completing the number of reps of the exercise. It's a much better idea to write down that you did 8 once it got very hard. Pay attention to the level of intensity that you're doing that exercise with. Note that in your program, and we will make adjustments going forward. And as your coach, I can provide a little bit more guidance on where you should go from there. One superset is another term that you'll see in your program. A superset looks like where we are going to do a couple of exercises back to back. And what that's going to mean is we're taking very little, if any, rest time between the exercises. So, for example, this is going to look like if I'm doing arm curls. I have a superset of arm curls followed by push-ups. I'm going to do my arm curls. I'm going to set that weight back where I got it, and then I'm going to go directly into doing my push-ups and then take my rest time. So, we're not looking for, I'm doing my set of arm curls, I sit down for 5-6 minutes, and then I come back and I do my push-ups. The reason why we're making it into a superset is to be a little bit more efficient with the use of our time. But also to, inadvertently build up a little bit of endurance by chaining the exercises together. So that's why they're organized that way. You might also see something, more along the lines of a compound set. Really just think about that in basically the same structure as a superset. The difference with a compound set is that it's going to work the same muscle groups 2 times in a row. So it might look like something where you're doing squats followed by lunges. Where again, you're taking very little rest time in between some of those exercises. A very important thing to note about why that's different is if I am doubling up on the same muscle group, I'm going to want to pay attention to the level of intensity that I'm using and the weights that I'm using for those exercises. Obviously, if we're chaining exercises back to back that hit the same muscle group, you're going to be a little bit more tired for that second exercise and for the consecutive sets following that. So, you might also see things listed in there like a circuit. A circuit really kind of functionally for you works the same way. The difference is that it will be a kind of a list of exercises followed by rest time. Again, taking very little, if any, rest time between the individual exercises, followed by rest time, and then repeating that. So, again, if you are looking at that and within your program it says I'm doing 2 or 3 sets of this circuit or this superset, really what you're going to do is all the exercises in that superset or in that circuit, then take your rest time, loop back through that entire block for the number of sets that we have. So again, very important to look forward in your program and plan accordingly. If you have 5 or 6 exercises back to back to back, you might not want to shoot yourself in the leg by going really, really hard on the first exercise within that group. Again, it is important to push yourself hard, but it's also important to push yourself hard where it's appropriate. And for some of the organization of some of these exercises, it might be a little bit better idea to keep some in the tank, feel things out first, and then build over the course of whatever phase it is that you're in. So hopefully that answers most of the questions. But if you have any more, feel free to reach out to me. I'm always available to my clients. So thank you for watching.